making a rhubarb crumble today, so you know, it's like an apple crumble except we're going to use rhubarb. It's really delicious and so easy to make. So to make up this rhubarb crumble, I'm just going to quickly go through the ingredients. Now the first thing I've got is some rhubarb. Now I've washed mine and I've got about 500 grams of that. What you want to do is just chop the ends off and then chop it down into sort of, you know, a couple of inch pieces like the size of your thumb, and put it into a saucepan along with 100 grams of caster sugar, and I'm also going to use a little bit of port, about 3 or 4 dessert spoons of port. It just gives it all a lovely flavour. So that all goes in the saucepan and you cook it on a low simmer for about 10 or 15 minutes. Just remember not to overcook the rhubarb. Then for making the crumble that's going to go on top, I'm going to use 100 grams of cold butter, so that's chilled, it's been in the fridge. Then I've got some brown sugar. Now I've actually got 60 grams of brown sugar, 200 grams of self-raising flour, and then these next 3 ingredients are kind of optional, but I think they add something to it. I've got some crystallised ginger, 3 little pieces, chop it up nice and fine and just mix that in. I've also got some nuts. This is actually walnuts. There's 35 grams there. I actually had that left over for my carrot cake the other day, so I'm going to use that, and it's actually been blended so it's nice and fine, but you can use any nuts you like if you want to add the nuts in there. The other thing you could use is porridge oats. This one's like a breakfast cereal and it's got little bits of porridge oats and little nuts and all sorts of things. So I've got 50 grams of, you know, you could use porridge oats. So there's all the ingredients. So what I'm going to do is get myself a saucepan, go over to the hob, and we're going to start simmering up the rhubarb. Once that's simmered, put it into a baking tray, and then we just add the crumble on top, pop it in the oven, and it's going to be delicious. So I've got my saucepan there, and I've got my ingredients laid out. So just tip the rhubarb straight in, and then we can put the caster sugar in, and also I've got the port. Let's just put, that's 1, 2, 3, a little bit. There you go. Put it all in there, put a lid on it, put it on a low simmer, and as I say, roughly for about 10 or 15 minutes, just give it a very gentle stir to start with, but what you don't want to do is overcook the rhubarb because it's going to go all soggy. So switch the heat on, nice and low, 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm just going to switch mine on, fairly low. That's it. Just initially, once it starts to warm up, give it a little stir just to get all those sort of flavours all coated everywhere, and then just leave it gently simmering away for about 10 or 15 minutes. And mine just started to warm up, so what we'll do is just give it a quick turning over. Oh, you can smell that port, beautiful. So just leave that now, put the lid back on. As I say, for about 10 or 15 minutes. Now I've got one on the simmer and I've been cooking for about 7 minutes. Look at that, bubbling away there, beautiful. Let me just have a look. Give that a very gentle move. That's it, looking good, smelling beautiful. Put the lid back on and carry on cooking. So I've been cooking mine on a simmer for 15 minutes. We don't want to overdo it. Yeah, that's softening down just about right. As I say, you don't want to overdo it because otherwise it just goes into a sort of soggy mess really. So let's switch the heat off. What I'm also going to do, just get a bit of the liquid, which most of this liquid is the water that's come out of the rhubarb, but let's just taste it for sweetness. Lovely. You can obviously, you know, add a little bit of sugar if you need to when you put it into the baking, you know, tin that I'm going to use, but I think that's really nice. So I'm going to take it off the heat and put it into my sort of baking tin, baking tray, and then we're going to go and make the crumble. So let's take it off the heat and pour it in the baking tin. So I've got my sort of baking dish there. Try and get one that's about what you think is the right size. Just pour that in. Leave that like that. Beautiful. I'm going to put that aside and we're going to quickly make up the crumble. So to make up the crumble, I'm just going to get myself a bowl. And I'm going to go straight in with the flour. And then I've got my butter, which is slightly chilled. Now, get your hands and just rub it and try and rub it in between your fingers. So it almost kind of looks like sort of breadcrumbs almost, really. So mix that together. Doesn't take very long, just a minute or so. So there you go, I've got mine just about all mixed together really, and it looks a little bit like breadcrumbs. Just break those last little lumps down. That's it. And then we're just going to add some of the other ingredients. So next of all, I'm going to add my sugar. And then I've got my nuts. And I've also got like the porridgey oats. And then finally, I've got the crystallised ginger. I'm just going to quickly cut that up so I can put it in. I've got the crystallised ginger. I've sort of chopped it up. And again, now all you want to do, just squeeze it in your fingers. Give it a final mix up. And then really, the crumble's done. It's really simple. And it will taste absolutely delicious on top of that rhubarb. That's what it needs. So let's move the bowl out of the way, bring back the rhubarb, and then just literally tip this on top. Obviously, this thing about having a bowl that's big enough when you tip it in your sort of baking tray. And I'm using plenty of crumble because it's really nice to have this crumble. People will want more of it. So just get it in there like that, and just lightly kind of spread it. So it's fairly even. There you go. Look at that, that was nice and simple. So I'll just clear up these last little bits. I'm going to switch the oven on and we're going to get it cooking. So I'm just going to pop the crumble in the oven. 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit, gas mark 4. And you want to cook it for about 30 to 40 minutes. Until it's a really nice golden brown colour on top and it's all bubbling away underneath, so it'll be delicious. Shut the door, leave it cooking. Now I've been cooking mine for just over half an hour and it's bubbling away. Look at that. Oh, that looks beautiful. And the smell is absolutely wonderful. Now it's nice and golden brown on top, so I reckon that's done. But obviously your oven, you know, it might take a little bit longer. Just make sure it's golden brown and it's all bubbling away, because all those juices are bubbling into that crumble and it's going to be delicious. So I'm going to pour mine out, serve it up. I'm going to serve mine a little bit of custard. If you've got any ice cream, add that. It'll be yummy. So let's pull it out and serve it up. So I've taken the rhubarb crumble out the oven and look at that. That looks really scrumptious. So I'm going to get myself a bowl and I'm going to serve a piece up, a little bit of custard. I haven't got any ice cream, otherwise I'll add that as well, but let's get a bowl and try some. So I'm just going to serve some of this up. I'm just going to dig in, get a good scoop out. Better leave some room for the custard. Got a bit of custard there. Just going to put a bit around there, it's really nice. And so if I had ice cream, I would try it with a bit of ice cream as well, because then you get a really good contrast, you know, the hot and the cold. But now I didn't actually make my own custard, in case you're wondering. I do sometimes, but not always. Look at that. Really nice. Let me try it. That is really delicious. I'm going to try a bit of this. Make sure I get a bit of the crumble on top. I can taste the nuts. And a little bit of ginger as well. Oh, it really makes a nice difference. And you get the crunchiness. I can taste the port. That port is really nice with this rhubarb crumble. I mean, obviously if you don't drink alcohol then leave it out, but you can't go wrong with this. Look at that bit dribbling there. Oh, I love it. Just going to try one more bit. Now, if you've not really had rhubarb before, it is really nice. It's, you know, quite a different flavour to a lot of things, but you could do the same thing with apple. But rhubarb is absolutely delicious, and if you've never sort of known what to do with it, make yourself a rhubarb crumble. You can't go wrong. That is just a yummy pudding, and you can't go wrong. Oh. I don't make this very often, but when I do, it's just fantastic. I can't stop eating it. Honest, it's so good. Get some more of that lovely yummy crumble on top. Let's just bring it a bit nearer. Ooh. Just before I go, I'm on the last bit now. And that is so delicious. You've got nice chunky bits of rhubarb. Your guests will love this. It's absolutely scrummy. I'm not just saying that. I recommend you make it. So easy, so quick, and beautiful. Thanks for watching my videos. If you enjoy what I do, please subscribe. Now's a good time. I'm going to put a link up there so you can just click it and subscribe. Come back soon. All the best, the original Naked Chef.